Was that two deputies are recovering and the suspect in this case is dead. Now, what we know is that there is still a very heavy presence here at this house just right off in the distance. Missing persons report was filed Friday afternoon, a day after Kings Mountain Police assisted Shelby Police Department in their chase. And family members say they're not buying what happened to Melvin Leonard and more could have been done. We were just here where those occupants were taken off of this private property, and now I was just able to speak to a man earlier today who says that he moved right here across the street and they're not doing so well. The investigators found him in an abandoned home off of Ramage Road in Canton. Mowdy has been on the run after he stole a Madison County transport van and firearm. So I will say that it is cold, but let's look on the bright side. It is going to be a nice day today. Let's turn this camera around so you all can see the roadways. The NCAA has a strong warning for Mississippi. Get rid of your state flag or lose the ability to host postseason and championship play. A12 News exclusive, a Mississippi man says he is still in shock after ICE agents raided Pico Foods in Canton Wednesday. The agents raided a total of 7 businesses looking for undocumented workers. In total, about 680 of them were detained. Juan Garcia says he had just finished his shift when the agent showed up. A lot of people are still shocked that this is happening. A lot of people say, they see this happening in other states, but they never thought that this would happen right here in Mississippi. Joining us in studio is MEMA's Executive Director, Greg Michelle, to talk about MEMA's efforts in fighting the coronavirus. Thank you so much for joining us today. So tell us a little bit about what is MEMA doing right now to assist in fighting this outbreak. The Union County Public School Board of Education just wrapped up their meeting and they're keeping the school year in Plan B. This means students will enter the classroom once a week with remote learning. Just like yesterday, teachers expressed their frustrations about safety, one saying COVID is like a bullet you see coming. Today, the Super Bowl took place, and I'm not talking about the 49ers versus the Chiefs. I mean the 23rd annual Super Bowl to benefit the Salvation Army Soup Kitchen and the Center of Hope. Feeding more than 1,000 people a year, events like this allow them to have the resources necessary to provide for those in need. It's the 36th annual Howls Parade and Festival, and you can see just about anything out here. Savvy Gourmand is one of the newest vendors this year, offering an array of different dips, just like this kicking Cajun. I'm going to try it out. It's really good. It's really good. Sweet potato pie person. Okay. I don't care. What about you? What do you like?
I love a good pumpkin pie. When it comes to a burnt orange pie, I like a pumpkin pie there.
So tell us what y'all think. Should it be, which one you like? Pumpkin, sweet potato,
pecan pie good too.
Confession here.
I'll pass. Jacob?
No, the only pie I like is chocolate pie.
What?
Yeah, sorry.
This is Fox 46. Good Day Charlotte.
The return of sunshine. After wet weather moved through the area Friday, Fox 46 is tracking a warm weekend. Good morning, I'm Lanaya Lewis. But we have to get through the fog and lingering showers first. Let's go ahead and take a live look along I-85 in West Charlotte. You can see there's a lot of cars out there. It's a little wet and it's a little foggy on the roads. So some showers could still make their way through the area this morning, keeping those roads wet. But let's get right to meteorologist Elisa Rafa, and we could have a little bit of relief on the way. Is that right? All right, looking forward to those warm temps. Well, top health leaders say nearly half of all Americans over the age of 65 have received their first dose of the COVID vaccine. But as Fox 46's Casey Stegall reports, those who are still waiting in line are trying to get their shot by vaccine hunting. If there are extra staff at many mass vaccine sites now, try to screen people in line to ensure that those eligible get the shot. Right now, some South Carolinians are having trouble booking their second shot. The state currently uses an online portal that officials say is a fast and easy way to secure an appointment. But due to last week's winter weather, there's a delay in doses, and some people are struggling to get their final dose. DHEC suggests using the same provider for both doses. Using 2 different providers is allowed, but officials say you shouldn't do it because it can complicate deciding where doses go. Those still waiting say they hope as there is less severe weather across the country, vaccines will be given out more efficiently. Doctors across the nation are sounding the alarm on an increase in youth anxiety, depression, and suicide. Health experts say distance learning may be sending young children into dark places. According to the CDC, mental health visits to the emergency room by children ages 12 to 17 increased by 31% in 2020. Doctors urge parents to look for changes in your children's appetite, weight, sleep, and mood. Daily moments of silence could soon be mandatory for all public schools in Florida. A proposed bill is about giving students a chance to reflect before starting their day. As Fox 46's Heather Gustafson reports, some groups argue it could lead to a coerced religion school. If you're one of many people who lost your sense of smell after catching COVID, doctors are working to restore your senses. Experts say about 90% of patients who get coronavirus lose their sense of smell. It could be for a short time or potentially for months. But if you fall into the position of not being able to detect things by smell, like smoke or gas, your ear, nose, and throat doctor is likely to put you on smell therapy to help you regain your senses. Officials say if you lose your sense of smell following COVID-19 for more than 3 months, it's definitely time to find an ENT doctor. And as many of you know, the pandemic created a new demand for face masks in America. Fox 46's Katie Byron explains how some small businesses are looking to help you breathe through your protection just a little easier. And many are hopeful these newly formed small businesses hiring employees could be what's needed to fuel the economy. So more than 10 million Americans still remain unemployed, and that's according to the latest report from the Labor Department. Well, the Friday Night Lights are back on in North Carolina. The Fox 46 sports team is joining us this morning with the highlights from the first games of the season with fans in the stands. Corruption and greed is what these demonstrators say that the Mississippi Department of Corrections is rooted off of, and they say it's time for Parchman to shut down.
I will not stop until Parchman is shut down, and I mean it.
Frustrated and tired,
Shut it down.
families of current and former Parchman inmates say enough is enough with what they say is unfair treatment and inhumane conditions at the prison.
He ain't bathed in 30 days. They were using the bathroom in garbage bags. They're killing rats any way they know how to preserve what little bit of food they do get.
With nearly 10 inmate deaths, family members and community activists worry that number could go higher.
Unreal, inhumane, disgusting. That prison needs to shut down. Parchman's a disgrace.
Mississippi native and hip-hop artist Big Crit said he felt the need to be at Friday's rally, and he's not the only celebrity who feels Parchman inmates need help now before it's too late.
All of the people that's higher up obviously had to know about this and know what's going on. There's a lot of people that's on the ground here today and have been fighting for this for years.
I think it's time for us to really hold the people accountable that need to be held accountable, from the governor to the correctional facility to all of the people involved.
The rally also brought students from local colleges like Tougaloo who felt the need to be a voice for the young adults.
And I think that it's very important that we come out here and we let them know that they deserve equity, equality, and justice, whether they're a criminal or a non-criminal.
Team Rock and the countless organizations across the state say this is just the beginning to getting justice for inmates and to reach their long-term goal of closing Parchman.
Y'all put me all over the news and made it look like I was a straight murderer.
Desmond Logan has maintained his innocence since he was first accused of first-degree murder August 2019. Police accused him of killing longtime store clerk Ishmael Doumbia of the Shell gas station on Freedom Drive in Charlotte.
It was a scary moment for me. I never been through something like that in my life.
Logan says the day of the murder, he was nowhere near the area, and he considered Ishmael a friend who watched him grow up. Authorities released video to the public showing the suspect, a person who Logan says looks nothing like him. When you first saw that video, what did you think?
In my mind, I'm thought like, I know I'm not a detective, but I know this guy doesn't look nothing like me, height-wise, size-wise, weight, anything. And then this guy had a gun in his right hand, and I am left-handed.
While he waited for his day out of jail, Logan says he was tortured, receiving unfair treatment for a crime he know he didn't commit.
I was locked down in my room all day because of some COs would lock me down because they said I killed that man and it was a friend and everything. It was real different. It was tough. Like I ended up, I had no bond. I couldn't come home. Like it was tough.
In January 2020, the DA would dismiss his murder charge and make him a free man. But 7 months later, Logan feels anything but free. His name is forever attached to a crime he was never found guilty for.
And I'm still traumatized to this day. Like my kids, I don't like taking my kids to certain places, you know, because some stores I don't even go in anymore, you know, and it hurts me because I know people might think I'm that guy, you know. So to this day, like, it's tough.
Logan is now looking for a lawyer who will take up his bizarre case, and he hopes the man who actually shot his friend comes forward for the sake of the family.
They cost me a lot, and they should just do the right thing and turn themselves in, you know, because I'm still having to wear this. Even though I'm free, I'm not free.
Dixie Bergeon said Jacoby was always perfect, but by the time he was 4, she noticed strange behavior.
By the time he got into 1st grade, he was forgetting everything that he learned. And I knew something was wrong.
After years of tests and questioning doctors, she finally got her answer. February 2nd, 2015, Jacoby was diagnosed with Batten disease. March of that same year, he had a seizure, which lasted 45 minutes. He would go on to lose his ability to walk, talk, but fortunately, still had his vision.
I found myself tiptoeing down the hall to make sure he was still breathing in the mornings. And I would check on him throughout the night. I haven't had a solid good night's sleep in many years.
Batten disease attacks the nervous system. In Jacoby's case, doctors found in both copies of the genes from his mother and father there was a spelling error, meaning this error affects proteins from functioning properly and breaking down waste in the body.
Similar to that, you can think of you're building up this trash material in cells, and there's no garbage collection to come by and get rid of this. Well, if you get enough buildup of this waste product in the cell stops functioning and will die.
There's no cure for Batten disease, but in 2017, the Food and Drug Administration approved an enzyme replacement therapy. This will put the correct spelling of the gene into the patient, potentially slowing down the symptoms of Batten. But this therapy costs millions of dollars in multiple treatments.
It's very difficult to get drug companies on board to do this because the disease is so rare and it's going to cost so much money to get through, you know, the research and production of these. There's very little incentive for drug companies.
Oh, you love me? I love you.
December and January, the disease started to beat down on Jacoby. During his final weeks, Dixie said he could barely drink and started to run a high fever. His little sister Miracle always told his mother when it's time for him to pass, she didn't want it to be at home. January 17th, 2020, Jacoby took his last visit to the hospital where he gained his wings and was free of Batten.
The whole way there, and he wasn't really talking, but he kept saying home. And even with him, I didn't want to lie. And so all I kept telling him was, soon you'll be home.